Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be showcasing a brand new Necro PvP build. This is still somewhat work in progress, and I'm sure some players out there will make different choices in the build compared to what I have, but thought I would share what I've found so far. As always, if you like this content, please do like and subscribe, and any ideas to improve the build, please use the comments. Let's get into it. As you might have guessed, this build is using the brand new essence for transforming into the Golem. So the way you play this is mostly a support build for the front line. You can go aggressive as you can take plenty of damage, which makes a change for Necros. Skills for this build are Soulfire, Command Golem, Command Skeletons, Bone Armor, Borrowed Time. Soulfire will not be used much at all as you will be in the Golem for 95% of the time. Next up, we have the Legendary gear. We are using 4 new Inferno 4 essences. Helm, Stern Guidance. This makes your command skeletons turn into spectral warriors, making them untargetable, and you can order them to rush a location and explode, dealing damage and fearing enemies. Spectral warriors will also sacrifice themselves, exploding on enemies that have been feared. Chest, Draw Deep. Bone Armor now passively absorbs the souls of enemies you slay. This generates a shield that absorbs damage and grows in strength with each kill. Bone Armor can also be activated instantly. Shoulders, Gravedirt's Weight. Bone Armor now also grants immunity to all effects which knock you out of your position. Legs, Therudo Plates. Bone Armor also instantly heals you for 25% of the absorb value of the shield. Main Hand, Wiltbloom. Command Golem now encases you within the Golem, empowering you and making you immune to knockbacks, while also increasing movement speed and reducing damage you take. You will gain new abilities while inside the Golem. Main Hand, No Rest, No Peace. When a skeleton from Command Skeletons dies, you and nearby allies gain attack speed for 3 seconds. Offhand, Corrosive Slab. Command Golem also makes nearby enemies vulnerable, causing them to take increased damage. Offhand, the Prong. Decreases time to raise a new skeletal champion. With this setup, you will find you are very tanky and are still able to put pressure on the enemies. Now we move on to the set items. Vithu's Urges 2 set increases the duration of all beneficial effects on you and party members by 30%. Untouchable Mountebank 6 set. Each time you take damage, you have a 20% chance to gain a shield that absorbs damage equal to 33% of your max life, and you can move unhindered through enemies while this shield is active. When Mountebank's shield expires, it has a chance to explode for 40% of your maximum life in damage to all nearby enemies. With these set items, you become even more tanky. Next up, Legendary Gems. As always with my builds, I like to give plenty of options so all spend levels can have options. 1-star gems, Pain of Subjugation. You deal 16% increased damage to enemies suffering loss of control, and take 4% decreased damage while you are suffering loss of control. Blessed Pebble. Increases the duration of beneficial effects on you by 12%, and increases your movement speed by 8% for 3 seconds after gaining a beneficial effect. Heartstone. The duration of your absorb shields are increased by 36%, and they also reduce the duration of loss of control effects by 24% while active. Misery Elixir. The duration of the harmful effects you inflict is increased by 24%. Damage you deal to enemies suffering from harmful effects is increased by 2%. 2-star gems, Battle Guard. Decreases all melee damage you take by 24% from enemies within 3 yards. Additionally, while your health is below 60%, you can move unhindered through enemies. Pain Clasp. Increases damage dealt by 24% to enemies suffering from a continuous damage effect. When an enemy suffering from continuous damage is within 10 yards, your movement speed is increased by 6%. Viper's Bite. Damaging enemies poisons them for 6 seconds. Enemies inflicted with the poison have their attack speed reduced. Mother's Lament. When you deal damage, you have a chance to increase your critical hit chance. 5-star gems. Blood-Soaked Jade. Increases all damage you deal while at full life which decreases as you lose life, also increases movement speed. Bottled Hope. Using a skill to grant a buff increases the target's damage done and movement speed by 8% for 6 seconds. Cannot occur more often than once every 20 seconds per target. Skill cooldowns decreased 1.5%. Get to at least rank 3. Chip of Stoned Flesh. When you cause an enemy a total loss of control, you inflict a curse on them. When it expires, it explodes, and the enemy takes 45% of all the damage they took during the duration of the control. Can be an AUX gem. Spiteful Blood. Taking damage while below 50%, life causes Spiteful Blood to surge through you for 4 seconds, increasing your damage done by 30% and making you invulnerable to primary attacks from other players. In addition, when Spiteful Blood triggers, you gain an absorb shield equal to 160% of your base damage at rank 10. Can be an AUX gem. Phoenix Ashes. Prevents fatal damage and then grants a shield for 6 seconds that absorbs damage equal to 1050% of your base damage at rank 10. Cannot occur more often than once every 180 seconds. Can be an AUX gem. Frozen Heart. When you take damage, activate a frigid shield for 6 seconds that chills enemy attackers and absorbs damage equal to 150% of your base damage plus 1458. Cannot gain frigid shield more often than once every 20 seconds. Can be an AUX gem. In your gem setup, you want as much defense as possible. In the video I'm using Spiteful Blood AUX, Phoenix Ashes AUX. These two alone give me a bit more survivability. Let's move on to the Paragon Tree. We will be using the new Paragon Tree Slayer for this build. You will want to take the traits as follows: Amplified Shields, Safeguard, Hope, Convergence, Unwavering. Legendary Paragon trait we will be using is Shock Barrier. Using this Paragon Tree and legendary trait, it synergizes well with the rest of the build as shields play a big part in our survival. Next, its cursed properties. Not much to say in this section, other that we will be using Nettled 6 set and Ghosted 2 set. Both of these work very well with the build to provide us with a damage reduction and a damage effect while we have shield active. Reforge Bonuses is next, and you may have guessed what we will be taking. You will want 3 barrier set on each bit of gear consisting of max life increase, block chance, fear resistance. This will give you the bonus for the set. You have a 2% chance when attacked to gain a shield for 6 seconds. Then you will want to add 2 jolt sets on each gear. Duration of beneficial effects increased. Damage taken from players reduced. Add this to all gear to give you the best uptime of the barrier set. Now we have something that is new to the game, gear enchants. On your green set, items you will want to have where possible. Beneficial effect duration increased. Damage taken from players reduced. Skill cooldown reduced. Tips for the build. Farming for eternal gear will make this build shine even more. Having a 4/4 command Golem for increased size and range of attack makes a big difference. The new Golem is a lot of fun to use, and as you will see with my gameplay, it can take a lot of damage before getting knocked down. You get new abilities with the Golem, a primary attack which you will want to spam as much as possible. Then 3 main skills: Soul Crush, which does AoE damage; Soul Slam, which makes the Golem leap and deal AoE damage; Soul Blast, which deals damage and fear all enemies hit. Using this in the correct way will make you a force on the battlefield. Remember, this is not a damage build, it's a tank build. Go out, have fun, and defend. If you have enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing for more Diablo Immortal content. See you in the next one.